So, hello everyone. Today we are playing the X-Files Legendary Encounters game. It's a deck builder by Upper Deck in the same vein as the other Legendary Encounters games, but for those of you who have been following Upper Deck's work in this area, again we are faced with things that are similar to previous games. As you can see, you've got the neoprene mat and you've got different areas. You've got the shadows, which is essentially where all of the enemies come out. You've got the field, which is where the enemies basically flip over unless you scan them up here, and where they will actually start striking. And down here you've got the recruitment area. So this would have been the library in Buffy. This would have been, I think, I don't even know what it's called in Aliens, but as always, they try to add something in terms of making sure that the franchise that they have acquired is reflected in the gameplay. And of course, Aliens was probably their first foray into this area, and basically also the one with the most basic rules, I should say. And then as they progressed, more and more things came in. There are some things that have stayed the same. You play across up to 9 seasons of X-Files. So you have 9 different story decks. They're up here. And you can play seasons 1 through 9, always in chunks of 3 seasons, or you could mix and match as you like. There are certain rules as to how to build those decks, and they are in the very short but very good rule book. You have doubts and beliefs. So these are generic cards which you can obtain during the game, which have certain effects. They don't exist in the Alien franchise, but something similar exists in the Firefly version of this game. However, there are also things that don't exist anywhere else. Again, you've got special agents. These are the coordinate cards. They're like the sergeant cards in Alien. They are a lot more important in this game, I find. You've got evidence cards. Now, these cards I've never been able to reveal. I've played the game 3 times. I've always lost. I've never even made it to the end game. And I've never been able to reveal these. So I don't really know what they will do, but we will try and see them. You have your strike deck, which is essentially your wounds that you take if you are attacked. In here you've got the stories. I'm playing seasons 1 through 3. In addition to the story-based cards, there are also 3 informants, which are beneficial cards, and 3 leads. Leads will come out. And they all come out face down, obviously, so you need to scan them to reveal them, and then the leads, if you manage to fulfill them, and I've never been able to do this, will allow you to do something with the evidence, which is supposed to be beneficial, but since I've never been able to do it, I can't tell you. In here you've got the recruitment deck. We're playing with 4 recruitment characters, and I'm going to tell you who they are. I don't know, well, there's the lone gunman, I know them, and then there are let me see, where is the example of play? There's an example of play somewhere in here. Yeah, and we have, in the Academy deck, we have Burks, Fulmer, Pendrell. I don't even know who these characters are, and the lone gunman. But in addition, there are also 6 syndicate members, because the syndicate is kind of a government conspiracy which infiltrates the Bureau, the FBI, which is why you have these cards face down, unlike in the other games where the offering, as it were, is always face up so that you can see what kind of games, what kind of cards you could be you could be possibly buying. This is not the case here. You actually have to spend recruitment points to reveal those. And in this deck, there are 6 enemies, which will come out. We are playing with, as recommended, Dana Scully as our avatar and Fox Mulder. So you play solo, but you play double-handed. I'm just going to draw up to 6 cards starting hand. And I have to say this game is tough. I'm a veteran deck builder player, but this one is really tough. So we're going to start with Dana Scully. At the moment, no one has coordinate cards, but it's important to know what cards everyone has. So first of all, we put the first enemy card into the shadows, or the first conspiracy card, because there could be an informant in there or a lead. And we look at our deck. We have 4 recruit cards and 2 strikes. The 2 strikes we can't really use at the moment because even scanning this would cost 4. So we've got 4. What we're going to do is we're going to buy a special agent for 3, and we're going to scan this area. Professional colleagues. Okay. So we're going to draw up to 6. 5, 6. And now it's Fox Mulder's turn. We move this card 1 space to the left and draw another one. Let's see what he's got. He's got 3 assault teams, which means he could scan this one, and he's got 3 recruits. So first of all, we're going to scan this one because scanning is important. X-File. Invisible UFO pilot, enemy alien, stealth. This enemy cannot be fought in the shadows. So this one will just basically make its way down to the field, and we can ignore it more or less because we can't do anything about it anyway. Coordination is key in this game. So I'm going to take this 3 recruit points to buy the professional colleagues card. And unlike aliens, for example, when you gain a card from the recruitment area, you reveal text. And this text is always beneficial, and you can use it. You may, you don't have to. So it says here, field office transfer, gain. You may put the gain card on top of your deck, which is what we're going to do. We're going to put it on top of our decks, and then we're going to replace it with another one. So we're going to move this 1 step over. And now it's Scully again. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4. She's got 3 and 3. She is going to use this to scan. She can't do anything about the invisible UFO pilot anyway. It's Michelle Bishop, enemy human spirit. When she is revealed, the player who reveals her gains this card. So it's now part of her discard pile. And she will come back into the game later. So we have 3. We're going to get a special agent. Like I said, I learned the hard way that you really need coordinate cards in order to play the game. So we'll see how this works. So she has exhausted her deck. So we now shuffle all of the cards together again. And we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see if she's got a coordinate card in her deck. She does. So we're going to put this on top just in case we feel like coordinating. We could give Fox Mulder 2 recruitment points if we so wish. This one moves 1 over. This one doesn't get pushed because the middle card has been removed. So we replace it. And let's see what we've got. This is an interesting card. I didn't draw up to the, that was a mistake of mine. I cannot play this card because you can only coordinate it, so this is a wasted card, which means you always have to have good hand management. You always have to have your hand at the ready. So we've got 3 and 2. Can't do anything with the 2 attack cards. We have 3 recruit. We're going to give him the special agent coordinate card so that he has 5. So he's going to scan for 1. So he's got 4 left. He's going to scan for 1 again. 7. So that's 1. He's going to scan for 2. And that's an enemy. It's a syndicate enemy alien, and we need to... Oh, and actually, if we were to recruit one of these cards, we couldn't replace them as long as this guy is in play. So that is important. We don't have enough to defeat him just now, This card goes away. Scully coordinates, so she gets to redraw the card. Fox draws... Oh, we shouldn't call him Fox, only his sister was allowed to call him Fox. We should call him Mulder. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No coordinate card from him. Moving this to the left. And let's see what Scully can do. She's got 3 attack, and she is going to use those to get rid of this syndicate member. Now, it is important to remember what kind of enemies we defeat. I don't know how I'm supposed to do this. I'll probably start using Chits, because it says this is a syndicate enemy and it's an alien. Now, Dana Scully has the possibility of using a belief card to grant her additional firepower for each defeated alien enemy. So we would need to keep track of this. So for the time being, I'm just going to put it over here. This is a syndicate, so I'm not going to just mix it in. And she also has 3 recruit. This one gets replaced. And she's going to use this to scan this one. And it's an aura photography card for Charles Burke for 2. And it would give her 2, or anyone who recruits it, 2 firepower. So let's see. She draws back up to 6. She has a coordinate card, which we'll put on top so that we don't forget. So we push this to the left. We still can't do anything about this guy because he's simply eluding us until he reaches the field. So we've got 3 attack and 3 recruit. So for the 3 attack, we're going to start scanning again. Primordial ice worms, ongoing. This enemy can't be fought unless a coordinate card has been played this turn, and this is where this is getting important. So we've scanned for 2, so we're going to turn this around so we know we don't have those left. We are going to play a coordinate card, drawing up for another card for for Dana Scully, which gives us 2 recruit. We're going to use this to recruit the aura photography. And the special ability of this space is that we can gain a belief if we so choose, and of course we do. So she has coordinated, that's fine. So now this one can only be defeated by using recruitment cards. We still have a recruitment card left, which we're going to use to defeat this. It's also an alien, so Miss Scully would now be at +2 if she were to use a belief. And then we have 2 recruitment cards left, which we're going to use to scan this space. And it's another syndicate syndicate enemy, and it's the cigarette smoking man. Oh, okay, and when he is revealed, any lead that we might have revealed up here in the shadows would be defeated. So we're very lucky that this happened now. And we also need to get rid of him, because whenever we reveal a lead, he would actually just kill it. So for the time being, we shouldn't really be scanning anything up here, because the lead should be coming out any minute now. And if we cannot fulfill the leads, we can't get rid of the evidence, which is apparently important for the end game. But like I said, I never made it that far. Okay, let's see. Okay, he has this coordinate card for 4 recruit, which he cannot use unless he coordinates with someone else. Okay, so first of all, we drew Michelle Bishop. This is an enemy, and it says when you draw this card from your deck, put this card into the field. So we've got 1 enemy in the field. This one moves down. And now we've got this one coming in. We need to get rid of the cigarette smoking man, and we are going to do this. We are going to use the coordinate card, and it will be enough. 5, 7. And we're going to get rid of him. And we're going to replace, and it means we can gain a belief now. Put a card in here, and we have 2 strikes left, and we're going to use this to get rid of the next alien. So now we have 3 aliens in our discard pile that we have defeated, which means Dana Scully, when she gets her belief, could use it to gain an additional 3 strikes. And that's actually all we can do. And we're now going to get hit by Michelle Bishop. So we draw a strike, And, oh, any other player may reveal a belief in their hand to cancel this strike. No, but it's a 4-point strike. This is actually serious because she only has 12 hit points and she died the last time. Okay, so she draws her cards. She has a belief in her hand, which is cool, but she has a coordinate card, so we'll put this on top. Let's see what Fox Mulder can do. First of all, this one goes down, and I hope that this is not a lead, because if it is, then we've... no, it's not. It's an informant. In the field, at the end of the turn, defeat this card. So that's a problem. Because if we had revealed him, then she wouldn't have been able to strike. So first of all, we're going to use our coordinate card. And this one to defeat Michelle. She goes in here. And Dana draws one more card. So this one goes into her discard pile. Then we have 2 strikes, which we're going to use to reveal this card. And it's a... oh, this one strikes from the shadows. This is terrible. Cecil Leverley, enemy human. And we've got 3 recruit cards, which we cannot use like easily because there isn't anything to recruit for 3. So we're going to scan this one and then put down the other one. And draw back up to 6 cards. And this one, Billy Miles, goes away because he was in the field. Oh, shuffle this into the academy as a syndicate enemy alien human with 5 strikes. Oh, terrible. So he's actually coming back. So he's a terrible person. Great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So. Oh, this one would have struck him because it strikes from the, and he gets 2, he gets a fracture. Okay. So let's see, he's got a coordinate card for 4 recruits. So we're going to put this out here so she can start recruiting. And let's see, she's got a belief card, which allows her, first of all, to draw an additional card, which is exactly what we're going to do. She has 1, 2, 3, 4 recruit plus his 4. And she's going to use this plus his recruit to gain bureaucratic authority. And you may put the gain card on the bottom of your deck so it doesn't go into a discard pile. Now, let's think this through. We could use her belief to gain 1, 2, 3 strikes. And we have 2 strikes, and we have 1 scan, which we're going to use to scan this card. So we could get 5 strikes in total. So what we're going to do is first, we're going to use this to scan this card. And we're lucky. This is an ally which we gain. And we don't have to pay for it, so it just enters our discard pile. So we now have 3 left, which we are going to use. We're going to discard our I Want to Believe card, and we're going to defeat Cecil Leverley. And Then we're going to draw up to 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's turn it over, see, do we have any coordinate cards? No, we don't. Now it's Fox's or Mulder's turn. And we need to scan. So we're going to scan for 2. We're going to scan this. And it's resolve your doubt. So it means we can't coordinate. That's not too bad. And we've got 2 more strikes. First of all, we're going to use our field agent to buy this card. We can put this on the bottom of our deck. It's a 2 recruitment card. And then we're going to use 2 to scan this. It's a lead. Okay, now, discover evidence. Defeat an enemy in the field. So when this comes down and we can defeat him, we would manage to you know, then we would have to look up in the in the rules how this works. Okay, so basically, yeah, well, he gets his top 6 cards, and we can't. Yeah, oh, this is going to be terrible. Cries incessantly. Yeah, so we're not going to be able to do this. So this moves here. We cannot defeat this enemy. So next round, this will probably come down unless we can pull something off. We don't have any coordinate cards. So what we're going to do is we're going to play 2 to scan. Tech immunity. You can't use... Okay, well, yeah. So again, we will be unable to resolve this lead because we would have to defeat an enemy in the field before this one comes down. Unless, of course, we don't. Maybe this still works while it's in the... No. When it's in the field... Let's check this. How leads work. However, at the end of any turn, if a lead is in the field, defeat it. So I guess once it enters the field, we can still use it for 1 more time. So we could, in theory, pull this off. So we scan this, nothing happens. We've got 1 more, which we can't use at the moment, at least. So we have 3 for recruitment. So we're going to scan this one for 1. And this one, 2. And that's us done. So we're going to draw a strike because Astral Force is in the... So we're now at 7. She draws 2 cards. Three, 4, 5, 6. Let's see what she's got. And she does have a coordinate card. So this one comes down, but I will play it like if we can still fulfill it on this turn, it's okay. So we're going to use the coordinate card to give us 2 recruit. She draws up to 1 card. So we've got 4 recruit in total, which allows us to defeat this card, which also means we have managed to get the lead. We're going to resolve this immediately to see what this actually means. Each lead card is split into 2 parts. Discover evidence and collect evidence. Only one of these sections is turned on at a time. Oh God, what happens? Collect evidence, do it again. Okay, so we can't do it, so there is no way we can actually discover this lead. We're gonna use our belief card to draw an additional card. Yeah, so again, we fail. So we've got 2, which we can only use to scan. It's an event. Choose a player to skip their next conspiracy in action phase. They turn their avatar face down until the end of their next turn to help remember. That would be him. And we have 3 recruit. And for this we're going to take buyers. And we don't have any doubts, so this ability doesn't happen. So we gain a doubt. And this one is defeated, so we've again not been able to do this. We draw 6 cards. She goes away. This one comes down. Oh yeah, actually they stay where they are. This one goes away. 1, 2, 3, so this one doesn't come down actually. Does he have any coordinate cards in his hand? Nope. Okay, let's see. We've got so many strikes. 1, 2, 3. We're going to get rid of this one. It's a construct. And we have 4, so we're going to scan for 2. And we have 2 that we can't use. Defeat each revealed character in the bureau. So these all go away. We're going to replace them. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to use 2 cards to scan. Okay. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This one moves over. He doesn't get a turn, so now it's her turn again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 recruit. And we're going to use those immediately to get rid of this guy. We have 2 recruit left. We're gonna take this card, put it on the bottom of our deck, and we're gonna scan for the other one, and we have 1 strike left for which we can't do anything. So that was that. 1, 2, 3, 4. Five, 6. Turn it over. Do we? Yes, we do have a coordinate card. And let's see. This is going to move over. We've got 3 strikes. We're going to 1, 2, 3. We're going to scan this card. Ongoing Scully cards can't be played. Okay, that's not a problem because we don't have any. We've got 6 recruit cards. So we're going to get this proprietary imaging software and we're going to put it on top of our deck. This one comes down and gets revealed. It's probably a lead, it is. Defeat a syndicate enemy. We don't have any. So this is I hope where you can see how difficult the game is. The leads, you should actually try and get them up here, which requires 4 strikes to even just scan this. And that's tough anyway to get those, only with starting cards, and even when you get all of these cards, because most of them are actually not strike cards or they're so expensive that it's really difficult because you lose a lot of money simply for scanning the bureau as well. Then, while this lead is making its way across here, you're trying to fulfill this. Now, if you have a problem like we didn't have enough enemies in the field to provide enough for the first lead, this time we would need to find a syndicate enemy we only have 6 in this deck. They could be at the very bottom because they're basically just shuffled in. They don't come out like based on the storyline, like they could be at the very bottom if you're unlucky. So again, this is not going to happen because it's now in the field. On the next turn it will be defeated. So it's simply not going to happen because you have to do two syndicate, unless we say, okay, defeat a syndicate enemy. It also works retroactively. This is something one could play, but I don't think this is how this works. Or maybe it is, I don't know. Okay, he's got a doubt, he's got no coordinate cards, and he's got a belief card as well. So let's see. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 recruit cards, and we've got 1 strike. The strike we can't use at all, so we're going to take 5 left, 3 left, and we're going to get these 2 cards. This one gains us a belief, and this one goes to the bottom. We all get a doubt. Unless, of course, I mean, if you think that I should have been able to use this card and get this lead because I'd already defeated 2 of these cards, let me know. I don't know if it actually says... Yeah, I don't know, maybe it also is a retroactive thing, at least in this case. But then again, you could say, you know, probably not, because the one that we had earlier was defeat 2 enemies in the field. And you can't say retroactively, yes, I did this, so I believe it doesn't work retroactively. So, like I said, it's a really, really tough game. So it's now Mulder's turn. Let's see, do we have any coordinate cards? Yes, we do. This one comes down and gets revealed, and it's a Gregor series clone. Okay. So, he's got a doubt card in his... Oh, so it means we can't coordinate. Okay, so... his belief card allows him to draw 1 more card, and we're going to activate it so that we get rid of our doubt cards if we've got any in our discard pile, and at least Scully does, so it goes away. So let's see, and this one goes away as well. So we've got 6 strikes. And to recruit. We're going to use 4. Oh, haha. Okay, first of all, we're going to activate this card, and we're going to use it to look at an undiscovered evidence card. The end game can only be fought once each turn. Okay. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6 cards. 6 strikes. And we're going to remove this card for 4. Another alien. And then we're going to scan this for 2. Event. Add a conspiracy card where this card was. So that's that. They go away. We've got 2 recruit cards. We're going to scan this one. And it's a Syndicate Elder. We couldn't coordinate because he had his doubts. 2, 3, 4, 8. We're going to coordinate. And 3 strikes. 8. I'm going to take this for 6. Yeah, 6. And we put it on top of our deck. And then we're going to take 1, 2. We have 3 strikes, which we're going to use to scan this, and it is a Phyllis Paddock enemy spirit ongoing. You may defeat one of your characters with 3 or more to defeat this enemy, because she's got 15 recruit. Yeah, we'll have to do this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. She gets struck. This might be the end. It is. She's dead. She's got 14 points of damage, which means we have lost the game. We could, in theory, go on with Mulder, but that's not going to happen. So, as you can see, this game is really, really tough. And I will actually go back to the rules, because they do give you the option of making it simpler. There are ways of doing this. And I am going to avail of those, because it does... it is a really, really great game. I think that they have managed to capture the spirit of the X-Files in terms of, you know, how does the game feel. Like I said, I have no idea how the evidence is going to work. I mean, we saw one card, Infant Interloper. The end game can only be fought once each turn. So I suppose that usually you could apply multiple strikes, as it were, to the end game, unless this one is in play. So you might want to get rid of this one. So I think I have an idea of how the evidence will impact the end game. But of course, I'm so far from making it there, because it's just very, very, very tough. But I like how they have implemented the ideas that come with the game, that come with the story of the X-Files. That you have enemies in your own midst. You have people that work against you, that try to undermine what you're doing, that try to hide what you're doing. And you kind of need to find a way to get rid of them and to get rid of all of this. And at the same time try and reveal what's happening in the outside world. So I think that theme is really well implemented. And the way they did it is, of course, by, you know, putting all of this into the bureau cards that you have to pay to reveal those. The problem with this is, of course, that you're spending a lot of cards and a lot of points simply on just showing stuff. And especially when you look at the scans up here, they go up to 4 scars. Unless you have 4 hit points to begin with, you will be very hard pressed to fulfill the requirement of revealing those cards, because you only have 5. It can happen, of course. It's not impossible, but it is quite difficult. And then you would have to work on trying to solve those leads. And so, for example, if the lead was the first to come out, which can happen, and it tells you you need to kill 2 enemies in the field, you can't do this while this is moving forward, because all of the enemies will be behind it, unless you draw an enemy that tells you to put it straight into the field, but there is so far only one that I've seen. So I think you could actually get completely screwed by this, because the leads don't necessarily work with the mechanics themselves. They work with the theme, but not necessarily with the mechanics, and that is a little bit problematic. So I am going to revisit how to make the game a little easier. I believe one way of doing it, because they have a whole section on how to adjust difficulty. And I think, okay, to make the game easier, do one or more of these. During setup, add one extra informant to each season. Add in fewer syndicate enemies, which could also be a bane, because as you saw, there is one lead that relies on you to defeat 2 syndicate enemies. Maybe I was being too hard on myself. Maybe I should have counted the fact that I'd already defeated 2. Or here, when a player is defeated due to damage, you don't lose the game. Instead, end your turn, turn all your strikes into scars, lose your next turn and rejoin the game. You can still be defeated by effects that defeat you without dealing fatal damage. During the end, using this rule, death is still final. Yeah, these are all things that I might be looking into. Reducing the number of syndicate enemies wouldn't work, as we saw, because it would make it impossible for us to, or nearly impossible to get one of those leads resolved. So I'm not so sure about this. Adding an informant, absolutely. And give each player a belief in their starting deck. Yeah, I think this is what I'm going to do as well. Yeah. So I'm going to add one more informant per season, and I'm going to give everyone a belief card. And I think this should make it maybe a little more, a little easier, because the thing is, even if you don't activate the belief, because Mulder's belief is actually pretty weak. I mean, it's to crush a doubt in your deck. That's great. I mean, at least Scully's belief is tangible. But at least a belief card lets you draw an additional card, which is very beneficial. So that's what I'm going to do right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One belief. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I always like to set up at the end of each game for the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2, 3, 4, 5. To have the starting decks ready to go. Because quite a lot of people say that setup is really difficult for the game. I don't agree. I think it's all about how you clean up after yourself, as it were. So, yeah, I'm going to add one informant to each of the seasons. I think that makes sense. Unless, of course, it's the guy that ends up screwing you over because he ends up in the academy. I will not remove the number of syndicate enemies, and I will leave the leads unchanged, because you could say, okay, but now you know what's going to happen. Yes, I do, but still it's a learning curve. So if I know what kind of leads are happening, I can even try and prep myself for them, which is, I think, fair enough, because you do want to get better, you do want to improve, and for this, it's sometimes a good idea to keep some of the things identical and changing some of the other components to see, does this actually make a difference? So I hope you enjoyed this. This is probably not going to be my last video. This was Legendary Encounters, The X-Files by Upper Deck Publishing. This is not part of the 12 Games of Christmas. So I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.